Hey guys, welcome to my edition of the Disney Pin Tag. If you're a follower of Sarah Snitch, you may have seen on her channel that she did a Disney Pin Tag and was welcoming people to join in, so I decided to take part in it. I thought it was a really good way to showcase a good part of my collection, so let's get to it. The first pin is my oldest pin. Now for this one, I wasn't sure whether it was actually my oldest dated pin or whether it was the first one I ever got. I thought I'd show you guys both because I'm sure you're curious anyway. What I believe is my oldest pin as far as the date would be this Disney on Ice pin that's from Tokyo. After doing a little bit of research, I believe that it was to celebrate their 20th anniversary. And just looking at the style of it, it's very different from the pins that you would see nowadays. So I think it's probably a fairly vintage pin. And as far as the pin that I've had the longest in my possession, it is this little toddler Princess Jasmine. I like to say that this is the pin that started it all because my aunt and my cousins went on a trip to Disney and brought it back for me for Christmas. And my cousin was thrilled to tell me all about pin trading, and I was hooked immediately, and I hadn't even planned a trip yet. So when I did go to Disney World, I was totally into pin trading right away, and it was a blast. Next is, what is your newest pin? And mine's actually pretty interesting. I was searching around a comic book store yesterday with my dad, and I found something really, really cool. I haven't ever really found any real gem pins out here in Canada besides in trading. Looking through thrift shops and antiquing and stuff like that, I haven't actually had the chance to see anything really, really cool. But I found these, and after doing some research on one in particular, I thought it was a really, really good find. But I'll get to that in a minute. The first one I found was this Rescuers case, and it is in really, really good shape. It's got the title for the Rescuers, and Bernard and Bianca, Evan Rude the Dragonfly. And I don't know whether it's Wilbur. I'm more of a Rescuers Down Under fan, so I can't exactly remember the other albatross, but if you guys happen to remember, feel free to remind me in the comments because that would be great. And I thought this was a really, really good find. I found this Toy Story 2 set, and after doing a bit of research, apparently it is actually a very, very good set to have because, according to Pinpicks and an eBay listing I found, this particular set was only given to Pixar employees. So that in itself makes it probably very hard to find, and the pins are actually very large, or they're probably an average about 2 inches high. And I will admit this set isn't complete. It's supposed to be a 6-pin set because it has Woody, Buzz, Jessie, Bullseye, the title, and then there should also be a little green man. Unfortunately, the set that I found didn't have the little green man, but all in all, for the price I paid, I think I did pretty good. So this set also will be up for trade. I don't think I want to separate it though, but if you collect Toy Story or Pixar, or you know somebody that does, let them know because this will be available for trade. Next is a pin featuring your favorite character. I have many pins of this particular character, but I am able to narrow it down to a favorite. My favorite character is Genie from Aladdin. When we went down to Disney in 2012 and I started pin trading for the first time, this was actually the first Aladdin pin that I actually traded for, and I actually hunted for this pin, and I like the fact that I actually got it off of another trader's lanyard. I didn't get it from a cast member or off the rack. I actually managed to trade for it. So it kind of means a lot to me in that sense. It's a fairly simple pin of Genie, just kind of, it looks like he would have just been like popping out of the lamp. And at the time when we were down in Disney, that was one of their rack pins. It probably would have been about $8 at the time. You might still even be able to get it, but like I said, it was just really cool that I was able to trade it off of the lanyard. Next is a pin that has a year or date on it. I chose this 2012 Donald Duck pin. The story behind this pin was actually kind of cool. When we were on our honeymoon, we went to go meet Mr. Incredible and Frozone, and I noticed that the cast member that was there helping them had a lanyard, and I asked her if she wanted to trade. But she didn't want to trade anything that was on her lanyard. She said, "I have a secret pin that I think you want." And I'm like, okay. And I was kind of hesitant about it because I thought it was really weird that she didn't want to show me the pin first. But I just I grabbed a pin that it wasn't really attached to, and I'm like, okay, fine. Worst case scenario, I trade it later. And she turned it over, and it was this 2012 Donald. I think she wanted to give me a milestone marker for our honeymoon, which was really cool. I'm not much of a collector for Donald, but I think it was something that it's still one of my more cherished pins because it was from our honeymoon. So it's a really cool pin to have in my collection. Next Next is a pin that has a funny story behind it. If you guys are watchers of my vlogs, you may have seen in the past me opening pin mail from Ms. Mouse House. And I've got to say, when I received my Ghirardelli soda fountain postcard from her, that had to be one of the best mail openings I've ever had. I'll leave it here if you guys want to go back and look at that. But the story behind it is she did a pickup for me because I collect characters holding cameras, and when she took it home, I guess there was some sort of team effort where her cat knocked it off the fridge and then her dog tried to eat it. Let me just open my trusty pin mail scrapbook here, because I have somewhere in here, oh there it is, I have a half-eaten Ghirardelli postcard and an apology letter from her dog. So these were the two pins that I kept from that. I have these Stitch and Russell pins, and they're both holding cameras. And they are both limited edition of 400, and they are from the soda fountain in California. Next is a pin with the most sentimental value. After deliberating for quite a while, I narrowed it down to this New York Disney Store pin. It marks my trip to New York with Tom last year. He took me to see Aladdin on Broadway. It was quite the journey, but that weekend was one of the best weekends we've ever had. Made lots of memories. This is just a rack pin, but I believe it's likely still there, so if you're ever planning a trip to New York, you could probably get one yourself. But I believe New York is the only place you can get it. And lastly, the pin that took you the longest to get. I have to say it is my Pepper Ann pin. I have a very small 90s collection, but when I was a kid, Pepper Ann was my favorite cartoon. So when I saw that there was actually a Pepper Ann pin out there somewhere, I had to have it. The funny thing is, I actually found it online on a local classified site. So it was actually somebody in a town, probably about an hour away, that used to collect pins, and they had all the countdown to the millennium and all that sort of stuff. And so they had this listing online, and I was like, hey, I need that one, please. I was just really excited to have Pepper Ann in my collection, because I don't think there are any other Pepper Ann pins out there. So that's all for the questions, but now I'm going to tag some friends that I think would be good candidates for this tag. So I'm going to tag That One Couple TV and Waltz Classics, as well as a fairly new YouTuber on the block. Some of you may have seen our trades in the past. She's Pinwin84 on Instagram, but her channel is Rebecca B. So feel free to go over to their channels and check them out, and hopefully they'll have some tags up for you soon. Thanks for watching!